Greetings and Merry Christmas from House of His Creation. As 2020 wraps up, we just wanted to give you a year-end update of what all was accomplished this year and kind of give you a vision for 2021. But this year in 2020, we did serve quite a few different clients. Callie?
We did. So kind of our year-end review. We began the year 2020 with a mother and child leaving an abusive situation, needing some regroup time. They were here in the house with us, and by early spring, they were back on their feet. They had their supports back in place, and then the pandemic hit. And wow, we started with a full house in March during quarantine. We had a mom here who transitioned out of our short-term stay unit into the house as she was working through a decision-making plan and reunification with her infant daughter. We had another woman escaping abuse with her daughter here in the house, getting her daughter back in school, building up her supports, working towards getting back on her own in an apartment. And we also had a relationship with a woman who was coming out of a long-term abusive situation and in the middle of the night pickup in a really bad place to get her and rescue her and bring her. She was working through a pregnancy decision. She had a lot of things that she was facing. And so we had a full house with women from a lot of different situations. As we helped them navigate it through, by the time quarantine had kind of lifted in the middle of the summer, everybody was on their own trajectory. Two of the women moved out to the apartments where they were continuing on, working towards community supports, building up supports, getting back into the rhythm of life. And the woman reunifying with her daughter moved closer to where her daughter was and has been making progress. We hear tabs from her and we get reports occasionally, and she and her daughter are doing really well. The other mother and child, they moved out late summer. They into the school year, they were able to move back out from the apartment. And then recently, the last woman, she moved closer to where she had some family and supports. And again, all the women took the supports that they built up here with them. And we have been family to them. And through that whole season, we had other women and children through the short-term stay and through our apartments. We had a couple mothers and their children leaving abusive situations who weren't as in need of the family living or in need of the direct day-to-day supports, but they just needed a place to live that they could afford and work through the reality that they were facing now, going from being married to single moms. And we know that that is a really hard transition. And so in the middle of all that, having a full house, having women short and long term here on the property, both in the house and in the apartments, it really had us look at how we're doing life here and who we are serving. It's always our mission to, as a life affirming ministry, to provide women a place to heal, to grow, and to learn through housing and ongoing support. And we had to really look at that housing piece this summer.
It's true. And as we were looking over things, we always want to be responsible and work with integrity for every penny that we receive. No matter how large or small your donation, it's still your money that you're blessing this ministry with to impact people's lives. And as we sat down and went over that during a time study, it became very evident that I spent more of my time doing groundskeeping and maintenance and property management than I was with being a dad and being a minister to the women that we serve. And I have to tell you, for me, I draw life out of the opportunity of being a dad, of just getting to show unconditional love that is just pure agape kind of love that just lets her know how important she is, but not in a world way that is awkward or uncomfortable. And so as we looked at that, it became very clear that we were starting to hit a little bit of mission drift, actually a lot of bit of mission drift, and we were helping lots of people in lots of different categories in different ways. But we felt the Lord saying, get back to formula. So we are looking at starting 2021 in a new location. And we will be back to maternity housing in the very beginning. And we'll see how far out we can expand other services. We'll definitely be doing some classes and some public outreach. But the new location, we took the opportunity with Michelle, our case manager, to look at it through the lens of what does she need, she being every single woman that we serve. And one thing House of His Creation has never truly been able to offer is sidewalks. So the location we're looking at is in town, and it would provide sidewalks for people to go for walks, go to the park. There's plenty of opportunities for part-time jobs down in Lidditz in town central. So that'll open up a lot. And then being on the bus routes, the bus actually goes past the house. And public transportation is a strong reality for most of the women that we work with. And the ability to train and teach how to effectively utilize public transportation for going to doctor's visits, for going shopping, for all the different possibilities that are out there, just for a simple day into the city to visit friends. We're looking forward to that opportunity and to the women that will be serving throughout 2021 and into the future. We're also very excited about getting back into the town of Lidditz. House of His Creation has been part of, or Lidditz rather, has been part of the House of His Creation story since 1979. And while we still are considered in Lidditz, this Brickerville is a little bit further out. So we're looking forward to being in town and seeing more people and being more active in the community.
And we just really want to thank you personally for your support through this time, as Matt faced a very serious, critical time with his illness and recovery. And we are just so grateful for everyone who has stood by us. And we just want to let you know that we are here, and House of His Creation will continue to bring hope through loving, caring, sharing, and giving by God's grace, anointing, wisdom, and compassion to impact individuals and families for change. And your support here at the end of the year will allow us to continue that. We are in the process of selling our property and buying, and we're looking at using that whole process to really invest in our program, in our staff, and being able to have more and more people from the community involved in many different ways. And so we just thank you and we bless you. And from our family to yours, we just say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.